You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
This is the Daniel Monday Night Community Show on demand through YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing to listen to us through this method. If you'd like to keep up to date with when I add new interviews, then subscribe to this channel. This is 95.6 BRFM, our very own community radio station here on the Isle of Sheppey. You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with me, Daniel, this evening. And now it's time for one of my out and about interviews. I was out and about at the Oasis Academy, Isle of Sheppey in Minster, and I went down there to talk to them all about how they are looking to build an alumni community of past students and how they're working with Future First to do that. Also, very shortly, I've got a little interview with the managing director of Future First to talk to them all about Future First and how they're working with the Oasis Academy here on the Isle of Sheppey as well. Now it's time to hear the interview I did when I was out and about in Minster at the Oasis Academy here on the Isle of Sheppey. Firstly, thank you very much for talking to us. I was hoping you could introduce yourself to our listeners as well.
Hello, my name's John Cavadino. I'm Associate Principal at the Oasis Academy Isle of Sheppey with responsibility for running the West Campus. Work with David Miller, who's the Executive Principal, and Dan Morrow, who's Associate Principal with responsibility for the East Minster Campus.
I was hoping you could tell our listeners why you want to build an alumni community.
We feel it's absolutely vital for our students to have role models to follow. And while in schools it's often talked about role models from the wider country, we feel there are many fantastic role models within our own community. And we want to actually generate and involve those and make sure that our students see the great role models that are around them, that have come through the school themselves, that have gone on to various other career paths, whether that involves university, whether that involves apprenticeships or employment, and actually seeing for themselves how they can achieve and actually develop successful careers and the happy lives for them that we all want for them.
Now, I mentioned Future First. I was hoping you could tell us why you decided to work with Future First.
We decided to work with Future First because we want to actually ensure that our academy is very much the centre of this community. And we realise that many of the solutions and the opportunities for our students are actually present on the island itself, and that the role models within the community with successful careers in various walks of life, we need to make those connections between the local community and our students so that our students really understand why they're being educated, what the opportunities are for themselves out there, and actually making those connections that will help motivate them to do even better in their education because they see the future goal that's waiting.
Due to the changes in the schools recently on the island, who would actually be considered an alumni student?
Anyone who's been educated on the island at the school or the academies in their various forms, in their various incarnations, whether it be Minster College, whether it be Cheney, would be considered an alumni. And we're looking for people that have made successes through various routes, through going to university, through apprenticeships, through various employment routes, through business, so that we can really make those connections with our students and we can actually get them to discuss with local people how they've made their successes. And that will help our students to be motivated with their education and their exams and their achievement because they see what the goals can be.
So what would be the benefits of becoming an alumni student?
I would hope that one of the benefits would be actually reconnecting with education on the island and actually helping the next generation to achieve their goals and to have the successes that we all want for the young people within our community. It would be a way of seeing what's happening within the academy now. Obviously, the school and the academy has changed significantly over the last 5, 10 and 15 years, and we're at a hugely exciting part of educational history on the island at the moment. We have these wonderful buildings, but most significantly we have absolutely wonderful staff and fantastic students, and we want to work together as a community and with the community to ensure that our students have the highest aspirations and achieve the goals that they're setting for themselves.
How would you register for this?
In order to register or simply to express interest or have a further conversation about this, we urge people to go to our website where there's a section on the Future First, Or if they simply want to give us a ring, then please do, and please ask to speak to Maggie Mills, who's one of our head of sixth form, or just ring reception and we can make an appointment for a phone conversation or a meeting to discuss what it would involve, what you may have to offer, and we can take it from there.
Well, I'd like to thank you very much for taking the time out to talk to our listeners all about how you're looking for past students, alumni students, to register and join.
Thank you very much.
We're talking on the phone to the Managing Director of Future First. It's all about how we've been talking to the local school in our area, the local academy, and we thought we'd catch up with him next. Firstly, thank you very much for talking to our listeners. I was hoping you could introduce yourself.
So my name's Alex Shapland-Howes. I'm the Managing Director of Future First, and we're an organisation that works with about 400 schools across the country, including lots of schools in Kent and indeed Oasis Academy, Isle of Sheppey. And we connect those schools and those colleges with their former students, people who are now in interesting jobs, who can come back to support today's students in lots of different ways.
So what is the history of your organisation and how did it all start?
So we were founded about 5.5 years ago by a group of ex-state school students who saw the need for role models in their local community. It was one school in North London in Camden, and they thought that actually they'd been very lucky in their family lives and that they'd had role models at home, but that some of their peers hadn't, and they saw that the difference those role models could make. And so they thought that's fundamentally unfair, that somebody can do really well in their life because they've got access to those role models and that some other people don't have it. So how can we address that inequity? So they thought, well, we could start volunteering and be those role models for students at our old school. And because they've got that, because they had that shared connection of growing up in the same place, having had some of the same teachers, they were instantly relatable. The students thought, hang on, that's somebody like me too. I could do that as well. And to start with, it was just volunteering at that school. And then the school down the road said, can we get involved? And very soon Future First was born. And as I say, we're now working with over 10% of schools across the country.
So what is your vision?
So the vision for the organisation is that every single state school and college would have a thriving, engaged alumni community. That once you walk out of the door of your school age 16 or 18, you don't leave and then never walk back in the door ever again, which is historically what's happened in most state schools and colleges. But you stay connected, you stay part of that community, and then over time you can come back and support the students who are still there in a huge range of different ways. So as I say, the main way that in most of our schools that happens is coming back and doing a careers talk, talking about how they got from the same seats the students are sitting in today to whatever it is they're doing now, whether they be a lawyer, a doctor, a plumber, a hairdresser or a fireman. It doesn't matter. Anybody who's found fulfillment in what they're doing, talking about the skills that they've developed along the way, talking about the things that they loved at school, the things that they didn't love, the things that they wish they'd done differently, the things they really pleased they did do, and about how the skills that they've developed in school are still useful in their jobs today. Really boosting the confidence of students that people like them can go on to succeed in the world of work, raising their awareness of the huge range of jobs that are out there, but building their motivation as well that by working hard in school, they can go on to succeed themselves. So that's the main way that former students come back, as I say, is as role models, but they could also be mentors, they could offer work experience, a huge range of different things, but our organisation exists to help schools and their former students to stay connected.
So our academy, the Oasis Academy here on the island, is working with you, but what would be the advantage of a school working with you to achieve this?
So as I say, this is something that most schools have traditionally either not done or have found it really difficult to do, and our charity exists to make it easy and inexpensive for a school to do that for the first time. So we've helped the academy to connect with doctors, a chef, lecturers, and we've only relatively recently started working with the academy, and we've got 54 former students signed up already. The oldest one signed up left in 1982, and we're looking for as many former students as possible who went there over the years to sign up and express their interest in getting involved in a huge range of different ways, as I say.
So if you are a student out there, past student that would like to register, how would they do that?
So it's quite an easy process. They go onto our website, which is futurefirst.org.uk, all spelled out in letters, .org.uk, futurefirst.org.uk, and then they fill in a short sign-up form on that website just with their name and a small amount of contact details, and then just tick a box to explain the kinds of ways that they'd like to get involved.
And if there's a school out there that's interested in signing up with you, is that a similar process?
Yeah, again, there's a slightly different form on our website, but if they went to futurefirst.org.uk, they can read about how it all works and then get in touch.
Is there anything else you'd like to get over to our listeners?
I think that we want this to happen in all schools across the country. So we're absolutely like this, and we're really pleased to be able to talk to you today about the Oasis Academy. But obviously, people who live in Kent now went to schools all over the country. So regardless of where you went to school, we'd love you to go onto our website and sign up to support your old school. We think everyone should.
Well, I'd like to thank you very much for taking the time out today to tell our listeners all about what your organisation does.
No, thanks very much for having me.